Today's tutorial is brought to you by Crochet Crochet. We'll be making a modified version of the Bavarian crochet square. Traditionally, it's made with treble crochets, but in this version, I use double crochets. Okay, so we're going to start with an H hook that matches our yarn, which is just a regular 4 worsted weight yarn. And I started with a magic ring, but you could also start with a chain 6 and then slip stitch it together. Then we're going to chain 3, yarn over, and we're going to make 4 clusters of double crochets, but we're not going to finish them. We're going to stop on the last stitch. So you can see here that I'm yarning over, pulling it up, taking it off, and then I stop right there until I have 4 clusters of double crochets. Then I'm going to yarn over after I've counted my 4 and take them all off. Then I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the ring, and then I'm going to chain 3 again, and this is going to be our pattern. So 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to do that cluster all over again. So there's 1. Remember, we're not finishing the double crochet. There's 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to yarn over and take all the loops off. And then we're going to chain 3 again and slip stitch. And then we're going to repeat that process 2 more times. So there we go, chaining 3. And then you're going to make another cluster of 4 with unfinished double crochets. Here we are at the end after we've completed 4. We're going to finish our last cluster by yarning over and chaining 3, and then slip stitching into that last one there. And now we've completed our 4 little petals here, our 4 clusters. And I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, no, chain 1. And I used the wrong yarn, so I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to chain 1. And then I'm going to make 10 double crochets in that little eye there from our cluster. So let's go ahead and make 10 double crochets. It's 1, 2, 'kay, so we're on the last double crochet, and now we're going to slip stitch into the top of that bottom slip stitch there at the base of that circle there, and we're going to chain 1 and do another set of 10 double crochets in that little eye of the last cluster. That's 1. We'll do 2, and then you're going to go ahead and finish off the whole set, and then you'll slip stitch, and then you'll do another 10, slip stitch, and another 10, and slip stitch. So go ahead and finish that up. We are on our last cluster of double crochets, so we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that top slip stitch there of the last row, of the last round. And then we're going to cut it and pull it out. I like to bring the yarn to the back of the work. And then I pulled it tight to close up the hole. And there you have it. And now we're going to go ahead and attach another piece of yarn between the 3rd and 4th posts of our previous round. And it's right there in that 4th post, and I'm going to attach the yarn a little bit before the 4th post. And I chose a variegated yarn to give it a stained glass feel when I'm done with the square. And then we're going to chain 3 like we did before. And we're going to do our uncompleted double crochet in that 4th in the back post of that fourth double crochet. And then we're just going to repeat the process and make a cluster of 4 uncompleted double crochets. And when we have our 4 double crochets, we're going to yarn over and pull off all the loops and then chain 3 and then slip stitch in the same spot we did our last double crochet. Now we're going to chain 3, and now we're going to do a larger cluster of double crochets. We're going to go down and pick up 3 of them. We've got 2, and there's 3. And then we're going to go to the other circle there and pick up 3 double crochets. Again, remember that they're uncompleted. We stop on the last stitch. And we're going to end up with a total of 6 uncompleted double crochets, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all of the loops. And we're going to yarn over, chain 3, slip stitch at the base of our cluster, chain 3, and then in the corner we're going to go ahead and do another 4 clusters, another 4 cluster of double crochet. Now we're chaining 3, slip stitch, and now another cluster in the valley of 6 double crochets. And so you'll just go ahead and repeat that process 2 more times till you get to the end on the other side. Okay, we've come to the end and we're in our last cluster, and we're going to yarn over and chain 3, and then we're going to slip stitch at the base, and we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to go ahead and make our cluster of 10 double crochets in that little eyelet, the little hole there from the last cluster. And when we've completed our 10, we're going to slip stitch at the base, chain 1, and repeat the process in all the little eyelets all the way around. Okay, so we're at the end now. We're going to do our last little slip stitch at the base of our 10 crochet cluster. And then we're going to pull through. We're going to bring our yarn through. And I like to pull it to the back. And that's what it looks like at this point. And now we're going to attach the pink one more time. And this time it's going to change a little bit. We're going to do a very similar cluster in the corners. So we're going to once again attach our yarn right before the 4th double crochet of our last round. And then we're going to chain 3. And now we're going to do our double crochet in that back post of the fourth double crochet from the previous round. And now we're going to make our cluster of 4 uncompleted double crochets. There's our fourth, and now we're going to yarn over and pull through all of the loops, chain 3, and slip stitch in that last double crochet at the base. Okay, now we're going to chain 3 again, and like we did before, we're going to pick up 3 double crochets, and then we're going to go up the side of the other cluster, but we're going to pick up 5 on the other side. So on this side we're picking up 3, and this is a little different than our previous round of clusters of 10. This time we're doing 3 and then 5. So we'll have a total of 8 uncompleted double crochets. And then we'll yarn over and pull them off all of the loops when we've had all our clusters on our hook. Then we chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And we will slip stitch at the base. We'll chain 3. And we're going to go down 5 this time. We will pick up 5 double crochets, and then we'll pick up 3 on the other side. You can see now that we're forming a 4 cluster double crochet in the corners, and in the valleys we pick up more stitches. So every time we get to a corner, we're only going to pick up 3 stitches on either side, and then we're going to do 4 double crochets at the peak of that corner. So there you go. We're going to count the 4. We're going to do that in that corner there. Then in the valleys, we'll go down 3 and then pick up 5 going up and 5 when we go down. And you're just going to repeat that all the way around, making sure that the corners have those 4 clusters. Okay, here we are at the end of our cluster. We need 3 more double crochets to pick up from the corner here. On the other side, we're going up, and that's 1, and that's 2, and there's that 3rd one. And then we're going to yarn over and pull off all of the loops and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to slip stitch at the base there. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to do 10 double crochets in that eyelet there. And remember, these are complete double crochets. This round has completed double crochets. So you're going to finish your clusters of 10 followed by a slip stitch. You're going to do that in every eyelet all the way around. Okay, so here we are at the end. We're going to slip stitch the base here. We're going to cut our yarn and pull it through. And don't forget to bring it to the back. And that's what it looks like. Now we're going to attach our yarn again right before that fourth post. We're going to chain 3. And we're going to go ahead and do our 4 double crochet cluster. And remember that in this round, the double crochets are not completed. It's easy to lose track whether we're completing it or not. And like right there, I made a mistake and I undid it. And one more. And then we're going to take them all off and chain 3. Now this is going to be very similar to the other clusters of uncompleted crochets, but with a little difference. This time, remember, in the valleys, we're going to be picking up more stitches. So in this cluster right here, we're going to go down picking up 3, and then we're going to pick up 5 on the other side. Okay, so here we're doing our chain 3, and now we're going to go down and pick up 5 double crochets from this side and 5 double crochets from the other side. And so that's giving us a total of 10 double crochets. That's the first time that we're doing that. So whenever you're in the valleys, you're picking up as many stitches as you need to take them all up. But then in the corners is the only time we do 3 up the side, 4 at the top, and 3 down the other side. Okay, so you can see how we're doing that. We're going to pick up 10. Okay, so here we are at the end when we're going to finish off our last cluster. Picking up our last 3 going up the side on that corner. Yarn over, pull them all off, and chain 3. And there we are. We're going to slip stitch at the end, the base. Now normally we would chain 1 at this point and do that second part to that round with the 10 clusters of double crochet, but we're going to stop here because I'm going to finish my square. So I'm going to cut the yarn, and then I'm going to add a little border. And I really like the way the variegated yarn makes it look like stained glass. So here we are. We're going to add our black yarn for a border. I'm going to start it in that little eyelet there. And then I'm just going to do a round of single crochets. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'll start my single crochets in that same spot. Since I started in the corner, I did 2 single crochets in there. And then just repeat that all the way around. And when you get to the corners, just do 2 single crochets in there. And then we come to the end. I'm going to close it up. Slip stitch at the end. And there you have it. You have a nice black border. If you need to tighten that hole at the bottom, go ahead and do that. And here we have our finished square. I think it came out very pretty. You could always try a different border if you don't like the single crochet. Almost any edging would look nice. I also made a second square just to show you the pink border. I think they both look very pretty. Thank you for joining me with this tutorial today, brought to you by Crochet.